So guess who just finally finished Breaking Bad? I mean, I guess first off, what took me so long to watch the show? The show started like what in '08 and ended in 2013, and I just started watching it in 2020. You know, I guess it was still good timing when I started watching the show. But yeah, people wanted me to, once I finished the show, after I took my sweet time of finishing the show, they wanted me to, you know, just talk about my I guess review of it. Right after I finished the last episode of season 5, I watched El Camino afterwards. I was gonna hop straight into Better Call Saul, but I think Better Call Saul is a prequel to Breaking Bad. And luckily I did watch El Camino right after. And I think that movie came out in 2019. But because I watched it right after the last episode of season 5, and it pretty much is a movie that takes place like right after, you know, the events with Jesse, it was good that I watched it like right after. Breaking Bad, I must say, I think why I think and there's a lot of TV shows in my opinion that go on for too long. I feel the reason why this show was so great is because it was short and sweet. 5 seasons, that's it. They didn't try to, you know, stretch it out and, you know, make it into a 6th or 7th or 8th season. You can make the strong argument actually that this show doesn't have a bad episode. And even when I was, you know, sucking off Walking Dead, like Walking Dead, that that show, even when it was in its prime years, that show, you know, it would have a great episode here, an okay episode here, a whole bunch of filler episodes, and then get back to being great, then good, okay, trash, great, good. Breaking Bad is one of those shows, it just stays consistent throughout the whole series. And I must say, I think this is probably the first, you know, TV show of all time to where I don't have a favorite character. It's literally impossible to just like choose one character and be like, okay, this is why I watched this show, or this is my favorite character. Every actor that was in this show, they did their absolute best with the role that they had in this series. Even when they were introducing characters later in the show, it was like they played a pivotal piece in the plot of this story. And I'm just like, bro, I literally cannot choose a favorite character. Like some episodes, it will go from Jesse to Walter to Gus to Hank to Salt. Like it was like, bro, this like every other show I watched, I've been able, like in freaking Walking Dead, it was Shane or it was Rick. That's it. Or, you know, and just other shows. Like I can always pick a favorite character. And this one, I just could not do it. And I'm just like, bro, the cast that they had in this show. Whew. But yeah, if you haven't watched this show already, I'm about to kind of dive into, you know, big moments in like the show. If you want to watch the show, please do not watch this part because I want to see how you guys feel about it once you get to that part. Just seeing the progression of like a lot of these characters, especially Walter, how he was in season 1 towards ending off the show in season 5, seeing Hank, Jesse, Skyler, just all these characters, like, and just the way it played out, really, like, you want to talk about top tier character development. Look no further than this show, my brothers and sisters. There were a few episodes to me that just like, I might be like one of the most annoying people when it comes to like just sitting down and watching a show. I cannot count how many times I cannot count how many times I was rewinding scenes in episodes, bro. Like, you know how mostly every episode was like 45 or 46 minutes. bro, these episodes will like go on for me for like maybe an hour and 32 hours because I was always rewinding scenes, you know, trying to see like what was going on in like the background. I want to talk about I need to talk about Gus for a second though. Gus Fring. Los Pollos Hermanos. I don't think we're alike at all. Like, I can't even do it. Bro, Gus Fring. This dude is he gotta be like, I don't even know what other villain can come to mind. As far as TV show villains, I don't know who's better. Gus Fring, and really depending on the way you look at him, really depending on the way you look at the character, he might not even be a villain in your eyes. But Giancarlo Esposito, this freaking dude, bro. Y'all know, well, if you don't know, when it comes to villains, bro, like for a villain to be great, they have to have layers to their character. They have to have a certain charisma, a certain swag. Just the way like Gus Fring was, to where like he just came off as like this calm, well mannered, you know, owner of some chick. He came off as this like well mannered, calm owner of some chicken joint. Just the subtle tones and like the way he would change his facial expression or like the tone in like his voice, how he could just go from being welcome to love to the way he could just like flip the switch, and how he would change his voice just to show you there was more to what there was more to this guy than what he was allowing certain people to see. Just brilliant the way like Giancarlo played this character. Anyway, I don't want to dive too deep because I'm gonna get to more stuff with Gus, but I remember just watching in like the earlier seasons, in like season 2, I think, where they introduced Tuco. And like I thought Tuco was going to be like, okay, this is the clear-cut villain of this show. Like this is, you know, going to be like the boss, the bad guy, whatever. And even though Tuco still played like a vital piece in this show, there was always more to it than just like who was on the screen. There was always the fear of like who is like the next threat, or like who really is running things, and just the drug cartel and stuff like that. I remember when they introduced Tuco in like the show, and I was like watching it, and I remember I remember when I was like more fresh into the show, and they introduced the old guy with the bell. Well, at first that's what he was to me. I'm like, okay, this is just like an old guy that just has like a bell, and like he's being taken care of by Tuco. Later to see how important that old guy with the bell is in this show. Come to find out his name is Hector. And it was just stuff like that. Like almost every character they introduced in this show played a bigger piece. Like even once Tuco was gone, they still had to deal with the repercussions of taking out Tuco, because in come Tuco's cousins. And the cousins, even the cousins, like these suckers barely talked in the show. They barely spoke. But every time they was on the screen, you felt the tenseness, you felt the anxiety, just when they was about to take out Hank, when they was about to take out Walter, like just every time they was on screen, like every actor in this show played a vital piece. And that's the thing, I feel like you don't see a lot in shows like this. They might introduce a character just to kill them off. I feel like that's what Walking Dead was doing at like one point. Like they would introduce a character and then they like die 2 or 3 episodes later just to die. Like, you know, in this show, like it really felt like to me every character they introduced played a vital piece. Seeing how deep the cartel was and like who these people really were, just the way that played out was beautiful. some episodes that stood out to me. Um, there's way more than just than what I got on here, but season 4 box cutter. Season 4 box cutter. You guys know, if you watch the show, what episode that was. That was afterwards, to where and just the episode before that, just the acting, and so like almost every episode, the swagger that Gus had in this show. I simply could not dislike him once, like, all of his, like, once he really opened the blinds to show you who he really was. It was almost impossible for me to hate Gus. I could not do it. I could not do it. And just the way he walked in, didn't say a word, took out the box cutter, and just kind of, I don't know if he was doing that to send a message, whatever. But then he killed off one of his own men. And then Mike got scared. Like, when Mike got scared in this show, you knew something was if Mike looks like scared and caught off guard, you know things was going bad, because Mike was like a really tough dude in this show. Even Mike looked scared, and I just loved how in that scene, I'm gonna get to Jesse, but I loved how in that scene, how once Gus is holding Victor and like making him breathe out where he sliced his throat, and he's dead eye looking at Walter with like this look of evil, and Walter looks like just terrified of this guy and just seeing what's going on in front of him. And then his gaze goes from Walter to Jesse, and how you can see Jesse is like not terrified at all. Bro, I must have rewinded that scene just to see that glances between those two characters, Gus and Jesse. Jesse was all like, I remember when this show started, I'm like, bro, Jesse just seems like this drunkie that like he's just here for comic relief. How wrong I was. how wrong I was. You can make the case that Jesse is actually the goodest guy in this show. You can actually make that case as far as morals and what he stands for and stuff like that. Like, but yeah, the box cutter episode. Bug. Bug was the episode, I think, in season 4, episode, I don't know, 7, 8, and 9, I don't know, but the episode where like things is, I guess they're trying to get Jesse away from Walt, because just all of the stuff that's going on, and Gus doesn't really like Walt, but he has to keep him around. Well, was Bug the I don't know if Bug came before, where Jesse has to cook for the cartel. I don't know, but I just know the scene when the sniper is hitting some of Gus's men, and then like Jesse, I guess he like he freezes up, and he doesn't like know what to do, and Jesse's about to get shot. Mike pushes him out the way, and then oh my god, I would be the most annoying, again, I would be the most annoying person to watch this show with, because I must have rewinded that part at least 15 times. When Gus like was seeing what was going on, and then he just like walked out to that I don't know if you wanna call that Gus's theme. The bullets are just whizzing. Well, the sniper isn't really trying to hit him, but you don't know that at that moment, and like he's just walking by the bullets, don't care. You see the bullets like bouncing off the ground, and Gus is just like, it's just like, bro, this character. I was literally like spazzing out during, I must have rewinded that scene at least 15 times, dog. And then how like at the end, a heel was just like for Gus in this show, easily a top 2 I can't even think about who else could be close as far as TV villains. Gus, man, he has so, like, I really feel like, even though season 4 was great, I feel like Gus cared, like what made season 4 and some people said that, you know, if you thought, oh, if you thought season 4 was good, 5 is it? And don't get me wrong, 5 was still great. Every season in this show was great. But at the end of the day, once I finished the show, yeah, season 4 to me is still the best season of this show, and it's mainly because of Gus. Like, Gus was just, every scene he was in season 4, it was just, oh my god, look at this dude. Then the scene, I don't know if this was after but whatever, but the scene to where Mike, Gus, and like Walt is kind of like just back at the lab doing stuff, you know, cooking, and but they like got Jesse away from Mr. White and so now they go to the cartel, I guess, in Mexico, whatever. And like Jesse, he gets there, and like they're telling him to cook because they need him, because, you know, I guess the you know, chemists that they have out there are just not as good as Walt and Jesse. And like, of course, you know, he gets there, and like, I guess he doesn't, because Jesse's not like an actual chemist, you know, the chemist up there is like, you know, who is this guy? Like, we're not gonna take directions from him. That that moment to where Jesse like stood up for himself, and he was like, I suggest you stop whining like a little bitch and do what I say. Bro. Another scene to where I must have rewinded that joke at least 10 times. And what topped it off in that scene is just how Mike, and especially Gus, was looking at Jesse in that moment, where they literally just look like proud fathers, like, I get it. It was like they was looking at him like proud fathers, because again, before that, Gus didn't really care about Jesse. Like he wanted Walt to get rid of Jesse, whatever. But then I felt like at that moment he like seen the value that Jesse has. Not only can he cook, maybe not as good as, you know, Mr. White could, but really close. And he wasn't, you know, someone to be stepped on, or, you know, just like pushed over. Like that scene, just perfect. There was, what was that other one? Again, there's so many episodes that like stood out to me, but I don't want to waste too much time. Crawl space, crawl space episode, to where things have just went to straight like things are going to hell, like everything is breaking down, the whole scheme and everything is just crumbling down. Hank is, you know, Hank is about to get taken out for like the third or fifth time at this point. You know, Walt is in trouble. I didn't even speak about the I am the danger, I am the one who knocks. I didn't even talk about that. Towards the end of that episode, where things are just going to hell, Walt is trying to get him and his family out of town. He's looking for the money. He got some, but Skylar gave some of the money to Ted, because Ted was another character in the show that was just like, again, like he still played like a key role in this show, you know. But Skylar gave some of the money to Ted, and like Walt, he needs this money to get out. And the acting in that scene, or he's like, Skylar, where is the money? And like, and then it's like the whole audio of that scene just like disappears, and then it's like, and then just like, I guess like the background OST music they have playing in like the background, and like Skylar just looks horrified because she doesn't really know what's going on, but at the same time I kind of think she knows, like, oh snap, we're in danger, like we need to get out. And like, you know how Walt, once Skylar tells Walt that she gave the money to Ted, and oh my god, and how Walt just like, he literally just like breaks down. And I hear that's like a real thing. Like if you're going through like a lot of, I guess, stress or trauma, whatever, or like your life is really on like the line, or just like it. I heard that's actually a real thing. Like you can get to the point to where like you just start laughing because things are so bad. Like you just start uncontrollably laughing. And like Walt, he just starts laughing. He just like it literally sounded like Joker. Like he starts laughing, and then the way like the phone was ringing in like the background while you're still hearing Walt, and then Marie's voice comes over. It's like, some guys are after Hank, and the music that's playing in the background, you're seeing Walt like from this like over the top view, just like dying of laughter. Skylar looks horrified. Like, bro, that scene, another scene I must have rewinded like 15, 20 times, dog. I know I would be so annoying to watch stuff like this one because I rewinded that. Like, that scene was like the perfect combination of like it honestly felt like a horror movie at that point. It was like drama mixed in with like horror mixed in with like comedy. Like it was just anxiety. Like that scene was just tension and anxiety and horror, just like mixed into one. And just the acting from Bryan Cranston in that scene, and the woman that plays Skylar, Anne the gun, whatever. That scene was another scene that just like stood out to me so much in this show. And I'm just like, man, every episode in this show really was great. From the acting to like just what was going on, just how the whole thing played out with Hank finally realizing the guy he's been chasing for over a year is his brother-in-law, and the acting once Hank found out it was Heisenberg, and then just like how he punched Walt, and then Walt was like, if that's true, if you don't know who I am, maybe your best course be to tread would be to tread lightly. Oh my god. Just like every actor in this show did great. Like every actor. I know Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, for who plays Jesse, gets like I guess gets the most recognition, but nah. Dude, every character in this show, Tuco, the cousins, Hector, Gus, Saul. Saul is a great. I gotta watch Better Call Saul because I know he's in it because it's named after him. So Saul. I mean Jesse's crew, Pete and Pete and Pete and Badger, Jane, um, just everybody in this show, man. And like season five, because I didn't speak too much about season five. Season five was great, but it was really like in a way depressing too, because it's just like well, one is going to be the last season. Now I really got nothing else to watch, but seeing all of the stuff that Jesse had to go through, like in my opinion, Jesse is by far the most tormented character in this series. Like all the stuff that he went through, like all the things that he lost. Like man, I felt so bad for Jesse towards the end. So bad. Just seeing Walter White at the start of this show, and like really his whole reasoning of why he goes into what he does, which he does have good intent. He does, but seeing that like character development of Walter from season 1 to 5, you can honestly say he be like, if there was any time to use this phrase, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That is literally that is Walter White really in this show. A big driving force for why he does what he does is I think something that happens in season 1, to where what are those characters' names? Gretchen and Elliot. You know, his old co-worker who is in charge of gray matter, and they're off doing well. They're like billionaires or something like that. He wants to kind of not really get back, but it's such a relatable thing. You have a lot of people, you know, in real life that feel like their friends and colleagues are doing better than them and more well off than they are. And you know, some people are in it are envious towards that and jealous and stuff like that. Walter, like that, I feel like that ate at Walter so much, knowing what he could have been, but you know, he decided to go into education instead, and wasn't really making that much money. And seeing what he could have been if he stayed with Elliot in the show, I feel like that ate at him so much. That was really the driving force of why he decided to do what he did in this show. And it's really confirmed towards the end, where like he's in the bar and he's about to like give up and call the cops and just sit there and just be taken away. But then once he see them on the news saying that like Walter really had no involvement of the success of gray matter, and then how it just cut, you see Walter's fist, like that ate at him so much, where he finally confirms to Skyler that no, I did this for me. You know, I need, like, Walter was driven by pride and ego in this show. In my opinion, yeah, you can't just talk about one character. Can't. Like, you have to talk about everybody. Everybody plays a vital role in this show, and I feel like that's something so rare in TV shows today, or like you might have one or two like main, you know, favorite viewer, you know, fan base characters that most people watch the show for, this character or that character, whatever. But with this show right here, like, man, I was watching for everybody. I literally was watching this show for everybody. Like, man. So yeah, I like the show. If you want me my final conclusion of this show, I liked it, man. I enjoyed Breaking Bad, bro. I might watch it again eventually. I keep on watching, like, you know, little scenes from like different episodes on YouTube, whatever, but man. And then El Camino was good too. You know, it was like a Breaking Bad movie. It was really like a movie to see like what Jesse did after he escaped. You know, at the ending of season 5, episode 16. So it's kind of that. You know, I didn't really feel like it needed a whole like 2 hour movie for it, but it was not bad at all. So I like that as well. But yeah, man, just if y'all have not watched this show, you know, you stuck around, you know, for me to like just really say like a whole like huge plot points in this show, like definitely give this show a chance. I know some of my viewers have been trying to get me into like other shows that like deal with like, you know, the cartel and drug stuff. After watching something like this, I ain't really trying to hop into like watching another show about drugs and the cartel, because I feel like what can you possibly do that Breaking Bad did not do? So I know people have told me about like other like shows on Netflix that deal with the drug and cartel, but after watching this, like, I ain't trying to watch another show about that, at least right now, you know. So but yeah, that's my review of Breaking Bad. Easily, easily, probably one of the top 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 2 TV shows I've seen. I ain't gonna get into the whole Walking Dead and Breaking Bad comparisons. I know that's what some of my older viewers want me to do. Ain't doing it, sucker. Freak out of here. Okay, but Breaking Bad, very rarely can I say a show is a masterpiece and almost has no flaws, if any. Breaking Bad is probably one, if not the only show I've watched that I can honestly say with a straight face fits that description. Show's incredible, bro. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know y'all thoughts about Breaking Bad when you first watched it and stuff. What moments stood out to you? Your favorite character of the show? See all that down in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Catch you on my next one, alright? We out.